If you were to ask me how much butter I like with my toast, my answer would be yes. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another recipe video. And today we are going to be making red bean honey butter toast. Timestamps are down below in the description if you want to skip the initial blah blah, but stick around if you want to hear a little bit about what we're making first. There have been many forms of honey toast over the years. It originated in Shibuya, Japan. Sometimes it's known as brick toast, sometimes it's served plain, and sometimes it is made into a massive slab, hollowed out and filled with all kinds of goodies. Like when I made Bueno honey toast. The thing they all have in common though is that they are slathered in butter, rolled in sugar. There is honey somewhere in the recipe, whether it's in the butter mixture itself or drizzled at the end, and it's baked until it's caramelised and crunchy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. And honey toast has been around for many years. Now recently I have kept being recommended videos by algorithms, whether on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, of a particular honey butter toast made by a bakery called Sakimoto Bakery in Namba, which is in Japan. And their method is just to take a slab of thick shokupan, that's Japanese milk bread, and literally dunk it in a vat of melted butter and honey. Absolute heaven, yes please. So I decided to make it myself at home. I had to guess the quantities because obviously the bakery's not going to give us their recipe, and in the videos of course they're making massive quantities of it. I don't need a whole vat of melted butter and honey, I just need a little bit. So I'm going to scale down the quantities a little bit and make it for 2 people. And I'm also going to be extra greedy and cut the crusts off of my bread because I want even more of that honey butter mixture to be absorbed. And in some of the videos I saw, they made their honey butter toast into different dishes. And one of my favourites was they actually made a sandwich with sweet red bean paste and even more butter. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a red bean honey toast sandwich. And we're going to cheat and buy the red bean paste, so this is going to be super easy to make. So with all that said, let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. First, let's preheat the oven to 180 degrees C. And now we're going to prepare our bread. Here I have a very thick slice of shokupan. I actually made this myself. I'll link a recipe up above and down below to my square shokupan. This is Japanese milk bread, and as you can see it is very thick, about 2 inches thick. So I'm just going to lightly cut the crusts off now because I want every side to be able to absorb as much butter and honey as possible. And now we have our crustless cube. I'm going to cut it in half. Now we have 2 bricks. And now we're going to make our butter mixture. Here I have 50 grams of unsalted butter, and I'm going to add 45 grams of runny honey. And yes, that was grams, not milliliters, I measured. And now I'm going to switch the heat on to medium, and I'm going to melt these together. And now I'm going to give this a little stir together. You can see that I just turned the heat off just now because I don't want it burning and I don't actually want it boiling, just enough for it to melt together. Give it a stir, and let's bring this back to the bread. And now I have a dipping station all set up. Here I have 50 grams of caster sugar, and what we're going to do first is we're going to grab some tongs, because remember this is hot, and we're going to dunk every side possible in our honey butter batter. And now let me bring this over so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to dunk these in the sugar and we're going to coat every side. And here I have a lined baking sheet which I've lined with some non-stick parchment. Well, it's not really parchment, it's silicone, but it's extra non-stick. I'm just going to do that for this one too. There's just enough sugar for both of them. Lovely, keep that if you want. You could make another half taste out of that. And here we are. These already look amazing. They look so buttery. Now we're going to pop them in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes or until they're golden and caramelise, and that they're nice and crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. But keep an eye on the oven, we don't want them to burn. Ew, these are our beautiful honey toasts. Now we're going to let them cool down completely because they are very hot. Future Tash here, I totally forgot to put these directly on the wire rack, so please do that so the bottom can get nice and crisp as it cools too. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't too soggy, but get it extra crisp by putting it directly on the wire rack to cool. Now let's make some sandwiches. I've got some sliced, lightly salted butter here. You can use unsalted, but I love that touch of salt just to cut through the sweetness. And also some sweet red bean paste. Oh, there seems to be a helicopter outside. And now, because these are silicone sheets, these should be easy to lift off. Lovely. Oh, look at how glossy these are. Get this one off too. Lovely. I'm just going to crack these off. Better believe I'm going to be eating those later. And by the way, just listen to this. Absolutely lovely. Right, now, sandwich time. I'm going to slice lengthways, but not all the way through, so we're going to create a little hinge. In fact, I'm going to do it on the wider side. Mind your fingers, by the way. Go. Oh, lovely and fluffy on the inside. Let's do that to the other one. Easy to part. Use this one apart too. And now we're just going to fill it. So I'm going to start with some red bean paste. I'm just going to spread it generously on the inside. How much is up to you. For me, the more I can fit in there, the better. And now I'm going to take a couple of nice thick slices of this butter, and yes, it is very extra. Maybe just half will do for that one. Let's pop in half. There we go, absolutely amazing. Right, let's do both. As you can see, it hasn't gone all the way through, so it's not as much butter as you think, but yes, it does look rather dramatic. Let's do the other one. I can't begin to describe how buttery these smell, and these look amazing. And listen to this. Lovely. As you can see, I stuffed this one a little bit too vigorously and I broke the hinge. This one's fine. This one is just a straight up sandwich, but that is also fine. Anyway, no slow-mo today, I'm sorry. It just doesn't warrant a slow-mo for this one. Oh, this feels extremely not allowed. Look at that, it kind of reminds me when I made kaya butter toast, and similarly you serve it with like extremely thick looking strips of butter. And as you can see, she is beautiful and glossy. And I'm going to take a bite. Cheers. I promise you, use slightly salted butter for the filling butter. Perfection. The crunchiness of the caramel, the fluffiness of that bread inside. The bread itself is also an enriched milk bread too, so it's like extra goodness. This is dangerously good and way too easy to make. I'm going to have to watch myself not to make this all the time now, because obviously this is not a health food, it is a treat. And goodness me, is it a good treat. And now you know how to make honey butter toast in that method. You can fill it with anything you like. So there you go, red bean honey butter toast sandwiches. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video, and I hope you will join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I'm tashcakes.tastes, and find me on TikTok too. I'm tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you'd like it to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. It's so wide I almost have to unhinge my jaw like a snake to eat it.